Hello everyone. Today's video we're going to talk about developing your ideas and organizing your talk for IELTS Speaking Part 2. For many people, the choice is usually between a mind map or a list of bullet points. They're ultimately very similar, but for me, I probably prefer lists, just little bullet points and nice lists, and I put them in the order of how I plan to talk about things. But whatever works better for you, I recommend you experiment with both to see, how does your brain work? Do you like to put things all over the place? If that works for you, that's cool. Or if you prefer to put them in some sort of order like a list, either way, as long as you're able to take your notes very quickly. As we have mentioned in previous videos, we don't have time to be writing full sentences on our IELTS speaking test, right? We have 1 minute to prepare. So we're going to have to just focus on key vocabulary and maybe some grammar or some collocations to help you keep going. Okay, so when you are creating your notes for Part 2 speaking, usually my students will start with vocabulary. So you're just jotting down some quick words. So for example, maybe this practice topic could be something like talk about your favorite meal. You should say what it is, how it is made, why you like it, and whether you would recommend it to others. Now, firstly, we should pick a topic that we know about, right? We won't pick something that we don't know how it is made unless, you get around it and you say, oh, you don't make it, mom makes it, and this is how she does it. It's fine, as long as you are able to talk about it. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I'd be writing what. Okay, mine is Thai red curry. I'm going to quickly brainstorm the adjectives that come to mind, like spicy, soup, fragrant, mouth-watering, delicious, things like that. And I would say, how it is made, for instance. Well, before COVID, I got it from a jar. During COVID, I learned to make it myself. So I would include some verbs like chopping, stirring, mixing. I would put some ingredients down that I could remember, like fish sauce and coconut milk, red peppers, chili peppers, anything I can remember to keep me going. And then why I like it, because I find it comforting and warming, and yes, it clears my sinuses and everything, why I would like it. And whether I would recommend it to others, definitely. I am not a good cook, and I think this is easy to make, so I would write that down, like easy to make, highly recommended. If I can do it, anyone can. Now, when we are writing our notes, again, just short keywords, if you notice that you are using very a lot, that might be a clue. We call it the case of the varies. If you're using very quite a lot, there's probably a sign that there are more specific words that you could be using. So, for instance, very hungry, we could change to starving. If you're very scared, we could say you are terrified. If you're very tired, we could say exhausted. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're looking at your notes. Basically, the notes that you use can help guide you to the vocabulary that you need. If you notice you're trying to practice a topic and you need some extra vocab, then you learn it there. So if you're using very a lot, that's a clue. You can get out your thesaurus and have a look for maybe an even better word to convey what you are meaning. All right, so we've got our list or our mind map. We're keeping track of vocabulary, finding if there's better vocabulary we can use. We're also going to look at structure. So similar to an IELTS writing task, we're going to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion of some sort. All right, so when we're introducing our topic, so if the topic is talk about your favorite meal, I'm not going to say, today I will talk about my favorite meal, right? I need to mix it up, change it a bit to show my flexibility. So I might just start the talk by saying, my all-time favorite dish is, or my go-to dish is, something like that, to change it up a little bit, is Thai red curry. When you get into your introduction, right, you can use some different vocabulary, paraphrase, instead of parroting, saying the exact same thing in the question, all right? Then to get into the body, so after you just say what you're gonna talk about, in the body, you're going to use phrases, connecting phrases like firstly, or next, or after that. These phrases might seem quite simple, but they're actually so useful, not just for you to help you keep the story going, because really part 2, think of it like a story. You're helping the story along. If you're saying firstly, next, after that, that doesn't just help you, it helps the examiner keep track of what you're talking about, helps the flow keep going, helps them understand you better. And then when you are finished, you're going to give a little bit of a conclusion. You might say something like, finally, in the end, to sum up. Just some ways for you to come to a conclusion to let the examiner know that you are done. It doesn't have to be long, but it just makes the flow move much more nicely. Okay, so for this particular one, I might start with, today I'm going to tell you about my all-time favorite dish, Thai red curry. Firstly, what you need to do is gather up all your ingredients, right? Then I'm going to talk about the ingredients. I'm going to talk about how I cook it, the process, how it's made. Then I would say, the real reason why I enjoy this so much is because blah, 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 blah. I'm going to give my info like that. And then I'd say, look, at the end of the day, for me, food, the best food is about something that's easy to share with friends and family. I'm not a great cook and I am time poor. So I like this dish because it's not hard to make. It's very fragrant. It gets your taste buds going all the time. And it's something that you can save, put the leftovers in the fridge and enjoy for days to come. Heat it up and enjoy again. So this is how I would put together my part 2. So to recap for part 2, we're going to develop our ideas more using mind maps or your list. We're going to keep an eye on our vocabulary, see if there are alternatives, other synonyms or phrases we can use. Keep it track if you're using very all the time, there might be a better word. And organizing your talk, make sure that you feel that there's an introduction, a body, a conclusion as well. And we still recommend recording yourself if you can. There is an app we've recommended before, otter.ai, that you can keep track of all these things, check on your vocabulary, see how long you're speaking for, and you can see if you're repeating yourself too much as well. So keep practicing, everyone. This would be the next step for after you get used to making notes for a minute to be able to develop them. Organize your talk and don't forget to use your connecting words like, in summary, next, after. All of those things will help you keep going and will make the examiner understand your talk more clearly. Good luck and we'll see you next time.